And like we could say what we want, guys. If you go to a different country, for like a student abroad trip or anything like that, uh, they will like have a talk with you where it's like they're like, hey, if something goes down, a terrorist attack or whatever, it's like we will come get you.
Oh,
Like
so,
the fucking American embassy will come get you. So it's
bro,
like if you get fucking the United States involved in any way where the embassy's calling up in some of these smaller countries, they're gonna crack down on whatever is being leaned on there.
that's a
You know,
hundred
it's just the
percent.
United States is just a big fucking deal.
That's 100% facts, and I can attest personally because when I was in Hong Kong, I had friends who were studying, and the second that the universities got taken over by protesters, literally, dude, my American friends got fucking evaporated. And what I mean by that is no joke. For whatever reason, obviously, what Willie's saying is the reason, but literally, these guys got calls from their universities that if they do not come back to the United States right now, they're gonna basically be kicked out of school. And they got arranged like flights literally the same fucking day, like immediately. Whereas people like me, who is from Canada, my friends from Germany and Netherlands, they were not at all. The country was not at all as like on the ball in terms of like evacuating their fucking students or whatever. It's
Yeah,
literally
it is. It's kind of bullshit in some ways, but it's also, I mean, dude, that's like the power of the United States with the sphere of influence and all that shit. You know.
yeah. Well, like it makes sense obviously because it's like an American hostage is leverage. They don't want to allow for a situation where one of their civilians is basically held hostage or whatever, so they're basically like doing whatever they can to force them to leave because a lot of people wanted to stay. Like a lot of my American friends were like, dude, this isn't as dangerous as they think it is. Like it's not that bad. But
Well,
yeah.
it is until the United States catches a spy and China goes ahead and calls you a spy and throws you in camp to try and
No,
negotiate
yeah.
out.
Well, exactly. Well, exactly. That's exactly like what they do not want. Exactly. But yeah, yeah. They do not fuck around. It was basically. It's funny because when these protests really, again, they took over the universities. It was two camps. Okay, there's mainland Chinese students who I was friends with, and there was Americans who I was friends with, and both of them just evaporated, like net, like gone, like instantly. Americans and mainland Chinese, they got literally the Chinese got taken in submarines to go to back to the mainland, and yeah, the Americans were like
That's
on a.
fucking crazy, dude.
It's not.
How
Yeah,
cool is that? Actually, that's pretty lit.
yeah, yeah. It's fascinating because, dude. Meanwhile, no joke. Meanwhile, I was receiving a fucking email from my university asking me like, what's going on? We like see news headlines, and I'm literally like texting them like, yeah, everything's fine. That's all just happening like way far away from us. Like I'm basically just lying to them because I'm worried that I'm also gonna get forced to evacuate. And
Yeah.
they just never like forced me to evacuate. I basically was able to stay. So yeah.
What was your what was that? What do you still know about it? Is it's all calmed down, obviously, but like, is everything chill now? Is everything all good?
So not really. So like in Hong Kong, it's a bit tragic.
Like, did you see that guy that always talks shit on China that lived there? He had to like full on flee.
Wait, which guy?
His name's like Lu Wao or some shit like that. He just always talks like mad shit.
Uh, I actually don't know. Let me just see.
No, you have to know who he is.
If I
If you
saw
were
his
over
face, I
there.
probably would. But let me see. What was the name? Sorry, Lu Wao.
Lu Wao. I don't remember his name.
Fuck. Damn, I probably would recognize his face. But yes, there was like a lot of chaos to say the least, I guess. But the through line was effectively like the the protest happened and it absolutely reached an insane fever pitch while I was there. And then with the COVID lockdowns, it like
Oh,
sudden
this is him.
yeah, suddenly there was basically a oh, what the fuck? Wait up. One sec. Oh,
I
Lao
put
Wai,
this
my bad.
off for
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
way
know
too
this guy.
I
Yeah,
long.
couldn't remember his name.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. Lao Wai got
He just talks mad shit all the time. I feel
no,
like half of what he said is not very credible, but
no. Him and his friend there, they are basically like. Here's the thing, right? Like they're not wrong about everything they say, but they literally it. I don't even want. I don't want to say the word grifter, but their income is
dude,
shitting on China at this point. You know what I mean?
yeah, I was gonna say if you were to watch their videos, there's times where like they're saying shit and they're backing up with like unique stories and experiences, and that's kind of fun. And then there's times where
Yeah, like
it
ideological.
just sounds like he's making shit up, bro. Like
Yeah,
he has nothing. He's not citing anything. There's fucking nothing going on, dude.
yeah. His friend has a cool like they. That's the thing. Like they did live in China. They do have cool stories. But like yes, when they're actually like acting as reporters, it's not good. Like in my opinion. But yeah, the
Yeah,
friend has a cool story where like he was a bodyguard for a guy who was a multi-billionaire in China who ended up being a scammer. And apparently, unfortunately, he was like basically sexually assaulting like the women that he was working with, and so it was interesting to like hear because he literally has pictures like as the bodyguard or whatever this guy, which is kind of interesting, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. All I know is that yeah, Lao Wai had to leave, I think, because he was so critical, whatever. But in the case of Hong Kong specifically, the COVID lockdowns fucking happened, and that was like the perfect reason, basically, for a big crackdown to happen. Where it's like, okay, you have to stay inside because there's a fucking disease, and so that basically shut down a lot of the protesting. They made it a law that you need to have a, or sorry, you're not. Sorry, they made it a law, the national security laws, which basically instantly just fucking neutered the entire movement because it went from in Hong Kong you uniquely had freedom of the press, basically freedom of speech, like all of these more liberal fucking British inspired legal system. But then with the national security law, they imposed a bunch of shit that made it so vague that now anybody can pretty much get arrested depending on the interpretation. And so effectively it's like very neutered. I would say the movement's right now
yeah.
very
I mean,
neutered.
China's not known for its civil liberties, right?
Nah, yeah, that's why Hong Kong is such a hot button issue because you have the history of Hong Kong is basically that the English absolutely like to an extent absolutely colonized Hong Kong, and like
Yeah, absolutely.
Hong Kong people uh in Hong Kong during the British rule were second class citizens. Like there's literally it's an interesting thing because there's a literal divide where there's Hong Kong Island, which is like super clean and fucking it basically looks like New York and it's like very hyper fancy and all this shit. And that's where the British stayed. And then there's Kowloon, which was basically where the more traditional Chinese stayed. And it's like such a clear fucking divide. So basically they had it really shit under the British in a lot of ways. And then they handed it over to China, and so they were excited because they were thinking like basically this will get better for us. But it basically they took the the inequality that the fucking British had, right? And they basically kept that, and they also now are diminishing the fucking civil liberties. So it's basically a situation where the average Hong Konger, especially if you're like a young guy, you can almost guaranteed not afford your own fucking house, and you potentially can't actually have like freedom of speech or whatever the fuck. So it's a bit of an L. There's a lot of reasons, I guess, be not overjoyed. I
Yeah,
guess, but
wasn't a big reason why they were able to keep that sense of independence even after the 100 years or whatever passed. Not it wasn't 100 years. Was it 50?
yeah, it was something like that. It was I think it might have been 80. Let me just check.
Whatever it was, it stopped in 97 was because Hong Kong was like uh such a big city for economic reasons, and then like
Yeah,
nowadays though it just isn't. Like nowadays
yeah.
like China's so big and their economy's like so much more fleshed out where it's like they could kind of go in there and fuck shit up and it's fine, you know.
Exactly. Like there's basically
Like
like
Shanghai's bigger, Beijing's bigger, like
no,
they
dude,
got other
and
economic hubs, right?
there's definitely a lot of politics at play there, but like Shenzhen is basically it's basically like an artificially created city that's about an hour away from Hong Kong by fucking train. And I went to Shenzhen and it's on the mainland, that's the whole thing. It's and so the appeal of Shenzhen is basically they want it to be China's Silicon Valley. In the sense of they have like a lot of tech startups and all this shit. But what they
Mhm.
basically did was successfully create a competition to Hong Kong just an hour away from Hong Kong, just like further fucking them
Oh,
effectively.
really? That's interesting.
Yeah, so if you're gonna say like Hong Kong is the New York of fucking China, then Shenzhen is like the Silicon Valley, and then there's Macau, which is literally like a 30-minute boat ride from Hong Kong. Macau is basically Las Vegas. You basically have this like insane triangle of fucking territories where like there's
Well,
so
that sounds
much.
fucking cool, actually. It sounds like a fun
It
place to
is
live.
bro. I'm not gonna lie, it's very cool, but it sucks. Like basically, if you are a Hong Konger over the last, if you're like an average Hong Konger, I should say, because if you're rich, the trust me, there's a lot of benefits in Hong Kong. Obviously, it's literally, oh, dude, like Hong Kong's never had a democracy. It's such a weird setup. They've claimed it's a democracy, but in reality, it's literally like there's different divisions of business, and depending on the business, they get seats in the house. Basically, it's literally one of the rare instances where actual corporations effectively like own the government of Hong Kong. But anyway, all this to say though, if you're like the average Hong Konger over the last fucking probably like 40 years, give or take, yes, you've definitely seen a decline. Like their leverage, their fucking swag is not where it was. But yeah. Anyway,
No, sucks dick for sure, dude.
yeah, yeah,
His
L.
his son's happy for you though.